My name is Jack Redgate, otherwise known as Redgate Production, a freelance videographer and photographer. So I create because of two different things. One is because of, it gives me a sense of purpose, it gives me a sense of creative freedom, and I can express myself in the ways that I feel like I need to express myself and get my thoughts, my ideas, my messages, even my emotions out there. And then secondly, the reason why I create is because for the sake of it, for the fact that it's something that I've loved for an extremely long time. It's something that I've believed in and that has just given me a sense of fulfillment whenever I create something. It's there, so why not do it? It makes me feel good in myself whenever I create something, whenever I get that opportunity to express myself. So basically, to get to where I am today, there's been quite a few things, I guess, to overcome and get through and just to progress in. Right from a young age, I've always been someone that hasn't listened to rules that are in place of how you're supposed to do something. I've always been someone that has come up with ideas that are different, that I just don't think work in my head. I know that's difficult for most people, but I don't want to say break the mold, because it is very cliche, but I tend to veer off into other directions as to how I would learn something. So throughout the years, if there's something I'm passionate about, I'll take it upon myself to learn. So right from a young age, I would pick up a camera and I'd be out in the garden, just photographing the grass even, and getting different perspectives on the world, and just seeing how I could translate how I see the world to other people. I developed my skills outside of college during that time, and I really honed in on video production and photography, because I just felt like that's the way that I felt myself going. I could express myself in the best possible ways through those means, and from then, it's materialized into what it is today. I've been extremely determined. No matter what hurdles have presented themselves, I've tried to overcome them the best way I could, the best way I knew how, and I am where I am today. So the pandemic has affected us in many different ways, all customizable to each individual person. We've all had our different series of struggles and whatnot to go through. For me, I sort of had to approach it in a weird way. I lost my job at the beginning of the year, before we really took into consideration how impactful this pandemic would be. So me losing my job provided a catalyst into me becoming this freelance videographer and photographer that I am today. It was something that was always playing about in my head, something that I always considered. From there, it just made me want to pursue it and be determined and not give a crap about what anyone else said, and just go all guns blazing into this job that I'm in now, essentially. Naturally, I am quite an introverted person. I don't go out and socialise as a lot of young people my age do. I was dealing with myself independently a lot of the time, so I had to come to terms with a lot of the demons inside myself, like the fact that I constantly was not happy with the work that I created. So having to deal with those problems, I've basically turned that into a way to motivate myself and to drive myself into doing the best work that I can possibly do. It's given me, not that I think anyone should be, a cocky way of looking at your own work. So typically I would say I hate 100% of the work that I do create, but there's a part of me that says, no, you are doing good, you're on the right track, and no matter what people say, if you're doing something that you're passionate about and that you believe in, you're going to experience life in a completely different way. You should believe in what you're doing. You should and shouldn't listen to the voices inside your head that tell you to improve, but you should also not listen to them in the way that you appreciate how far you've come from the beginning to where you are now. You know, you might not be where you want to be, but you are where you are now, and that's so much further from, you know, this mindset you were in beforehand. I do believe my work. The pandemic has shown me that as difficult as it can get, as long as you're doing something for yourself, it's all good, and to continue to do that work that you're doing. So my end goals with all of this is to essentially get to a level where my work is at, where it will enable me to tell messages and stories that are meaningful and impactful to the world around us, whether that's through a massive production like a Marvel film, where my name is at the end credits and I've contributed to a certain aspect of that story, or if it's to a real sort of culture-changing documentary. If I have contributed to stuff like that in a way that I feel like is meaningful, then that's my future goal. You know, a lot of people say that you spread yourself too thin when you put your fingers in too many pies, as it were, and you're sort of trying to learn everything at the same time. But I just want to find the best route for me to tell the messages and stories that I believe in and that I feel passionate about, and eventually get them out there one day, so I can look back on my life and think that I've done something with it. My name is Jack Redgate, and I was born to create.